Good morning. This is June the 18th, Tuesday, 2024, and we are in BBA second semester, section A compulsory English class, where we started the new essay, Understanding Cultural Identities in Intercultural Communication. There may be a problem with this thing. It's all right. And yesterday, two of us made presentation. Sirisa presented on the 10-step inventory, and Smriti presented on the cultural approaches. Sirisa talked about the 10 significant questions that we can ask whenever we come up with an intercultural communication problem, conflict. And Smriti talked about what culture means. For example, she said culture might mean the place we come from, the place we have been to. Culture might mean political identity, ideology. Culture might mean cultural artifacts, art, and many more. Now we have another presenter who will pick up the first question. And the question is, what do we want to know when there is communication conflict? I repeat. So the second step I said, second step is, what do we want to know when we have intercultural conflict? So let's invite the next presenter. So Ms. Basnet comes, right? We both are being recorded, and this recording goes to social media page too. Is it okay? Okay, go on.
Mine.
Whenever you need help, call me. Okay, I'll be there. If there is any confusion, look at me. I'll come and join you. Otherwise, I won't join you. Just explain. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will be describing you about culture and the campus problem. First, you need to know about what is culture. Culture simply means our values, norms, and assumptions. And when we talk about campus problem, or also we can say campus issue, campus problem, there are challenges students face in finding open study space or classroom and university or campuses. So, the first paragraph discusses about stereotyping and race, needs for culture centers, European American perspective, differing values on ethnicity. So first, stereotyping and race, let me make you clear about that. This means discrimination based on linking culture to ancestry or race leads some students to feel they need separate culture center. And when we talk about need for culture center, this means students seek culture centers to feel safe and welcomed by others who shares their culture identity. European American perspective, which means some European American students might view cultural center or ethnic stories as unnecessary. And differing value on ethnicity, this means students may not prioritize their ethnicity or past tradition, focusing on current American cultural norms. This describe about defining culture, purpose of culture centers, allocation of resources, recognition of contributions, and sites of cultural dynamics. So defining culture. This means understanding culture as ideology and politics can help explain why different groups maintain cultural centers and programs. Purpose of cultural centers. Such centers are maintained for identify, reinforcement and community empowerment. Allocation of resources. Resources for this center and program often include course focused on ethnic history, philosophy and art, recognition of contribution. This program acknowledges to contribute and legitimacy of ethnic community within the US American context and sites of cultural dynamics. Cultural centers are places where cultural identities are celebrated, contested, and reinforced. Likewise, let's go to the paragraph. Let's talk about the approach to culture, definition of culture, culture and group identity, politics and ideology, cultural performance, and intercultural communication. So what is approach to culture? Anyone? Approach to culture?
What are the questions, please?
What do you mean by approach to culture?
Okay, someone. What do you mean by approaches to culture? I think approach to culture is how we know ourselves and others, how we ourselves want to be and how we want others to be, how we do things and how we want others to do things. So it's about cultural identity, I guess. When she puts a question, I want class to answer, please. Yes, go on.
Likewise, author combines several approaches to define culture. Say, definition of culture. Culture, I have already said. What is the definition of culture?
What is the meaning of culture? Someone? No.
Historical practices and interactive frames that demonstrate affiliations with a group.
Okay.
According to the author, it is said that culture is described as a historical based, interpretive and constitutive practice. And culture and group identity. This means culture often functions as a maker of group identity. When we talk about politics and ideology, the author also studies culture in terms of politics and ideology, cultural performance. Culture involves the performance of group identities in specific events or interactions. We talk about intercultural communication. This occurs when different cultural identity interacts, and the article provides examples throughout to illustrate this issue. Let's go with the next one. Next one is, what intercultural communication question do I want to answer? Step 2, that is. In step 2, first paragraph say about identifying question, personal experiences, intercultural conflict, adaptation differences, critique of multinational influence, campus problem focus. The first is identifying question. Decide what specific aspect of a complicated event, contact, discourse, text, or situation you want to investigate. Second is personal experience. Consider questions stemming from personal intercultural experience or conversation. Third is intercultural conflict. Reflect on managing or understanding intercultural conflict you have witnessed or been involved in. Fourth is adaptation differences. Explore why certain groups adapt to new environment more quickly than others. Fifth is critique of multinational influence. Analyze how multinational cooperation from developed countries impact developing nations through technology and product, potentially creating dependency. Sixth is campus problem focus. For campus-related issues, question could include how does the social history of various ethnic minority groups shape their representative viewpoint in campus newspaper? How can recognizing the perspective of administration and human studies faculty student who possess diverse cultural identity help in finding common goal? Second paragraph talks about narrowing interest, empirical observation, analyzing communication, premises, understanding communication, and practical impact. Narrowing interest. Narrowing interest focus on interest into a specific research question. Empirical observation ensures the question can be answered through systematic observations or analysis of communication messages. Analysis of communication. Utilize communication messages from conversation group, public venues, print and broadcast media for a study. Premises operate on the idea that identities and relationships are constructed through communication. Understanding communications aim to understand and potentially improve the quality of intercultural relationships by studying communication pattern. And last one is practical impact. Consider how the finding can be applied to enhance intercultural communication and relationship. Any doubt here? Alright. Now I will be thoroughly summarizing what I have said from first to now. In conclusion, the text explores how cultural center on campus serves a safe space for minority students facing racial discrimination, while some European American students may not see their necessity due to differing view on ethnicity and cultural heritage. It highlights that these centers play a critical role in identity reinforcement and empowerment, recognizing ethnic contribution to U.S. culture. The author defines culture as a blend of history, ideology, and group identity, studied through intercultural communication events where diverse cultural identities interact. I want matters. For your easiness, I will be writing in points from the conclusion. Some European American students questions the need for cultural centers due to differing views on the importance of ethnicity and ancestry. Concern of cultural program provide identity reinforcement and empowerment for ethnic group, acknowledge of contribution, recognize and legitimize the contribution of ethnic communities to U.S. culture, definition of culture viewed as historical based, interpretive and connected to group identity. Thank you.
Any questions you want to ask? Questions? Any questions you want to ask her? Okay, thank you, Ms. Basna. Thank you. Okay, I'll continue. I'll present after you. You can come. Okay, take a seat. So I will add something to what she has presented. Wait a minute. Listen to me carefully. Okay, listen to me carefully. Open that curtain. Can I erase it? Can I erase?
Yes.
So the question that I picked up was, there is something known as communication situation, right? See, so in number 2, you have what do I want to know? Now, let me write. One, two, three, four, five. Three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second is communicative contact. Third is communicative discourse. Fourth is communicative text. Next is communicative situation. Say, whenever there is communication, there are at least 2 parties involved. Though you can have monologue. Is it working?
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen to me. Whenever you have communication, there is dialogue. Right now, there is dialogue between you and me. You are listening, I am speaking. I am trying to make you understand. And when there are 2 sides in a communication, so one can come from collectivistic culture, let's say, another can come from individualistic culture, let's say. So because they come from 2 different cultural orientations, chances are that their assumptions will be different about each other's behavior. As a result, there can be miscommunication, there can be misunderstanding, and if this miscommunication and misunderstanding is not addressed on time, it can lead to conflict between the 2 parties.
And if there is conflict, we need to tackle it. That's the background. Now, suppose there is a conflict and we want to solve it. So what do? The first thing we do is we ask some questions about the situation. This essay is about how to do a cultural research. This essay is about how to conduct a cultural research. And research is always situated. When I say research is situated, I mean it happens somewhere with some people at some time. And second, research begins only when we have a problem. Research begins when we have a problem. All I know, sir. यस्तो कल रिसिभ नगर तिमीले तिम्रो मोबाइलले सबै त सिकाएर राख न अब के भयो त मैले पढाइरहेको थिएँ भयो के मैले पढाइरहेको थिएँ तिम्रो मोबाइलको फ्ल्यास बल्यो क्लास 12 को टेबल मैले ठुलो लाइट आयो मेरो आँखा त्यहाँ गयो डिस्ट्र्याक्सन भयो म त्यहाँ गएँ तिमीसँग कराएँ अब पिरियड 3 वर्ष रिसाउँछु तिमीले पढ्न सक्दैनौ नि साथी रिसाले पढ्न सक्दैनौ म रिसामै पढाउन सक्दिनँ त्यो भएर के बुझ्नु पर्छ तपाईहरुले कि क्लासरुममा conducive environment create गर्ने जिम्मेदारी हामी सबैको राइट हामी सबैको म एक्लै गर्न सक्दिनँ कोअपरेट द टिचर ओके look the conflict see the conflict because we have two cultures one culture के हो I can receive a call in the classroom मेरो culture के हो you can't and we have conflict अब वो 20 से के पढाइरहेको थिएँ तब मलाई सम्झाउनुहोस् के पढाइरहेको थिएँ उसलाई गाली गर्दा मैले 20 से के पढाइरहेको थिएँ के बताइरहेको थियो तपाईले Okay, so I said once you have conflict, there is a problem. And when there is a problem, if you have a problem, you will either lose your money or you will lose your time. Problems incur two things. If I have a health problem, I'll lose my money. Medical center, I'll lose my time. I can't go to college. And there are two types of problems. One, real life problem. Like, will a phone uthayo, maile risaye, gali gare, distraction bhayo. This is a real life problem about classroom management. Another is conceptual problem. What? Conceptual problem. I am reading a book and I don't understand. There are two types of problems. One, real life problem. I was riding bike, I got my tire flat. Real life problem. Another is conceptual problem. I am reading something, I am watching something, I am listening to someone, I am looking at something, and I don't understand a concept or idea. Not understanding a concept or idea is also a problem. Not understanding a concept or idea is also a problem. आज मैले मोबाइल खिचेर किन मेरो अर्को मोबाइलमा चाहिँ तपाईलाई रियल प्रब्लम देखाउँछु ल एक्जाम्पल के रे प्रब्लम यहाँ मैले कार्ड हाले त्यो स्टोरिङ कार्ड हुन्छ त्यो पुरानो भयो काम गरेर रिड गरेर ओपन गर्दा मेमोरी कार्डले देयर इज नो कार्ड भन्छ कार्ड भित्रै छ इट्स अ रियल लाइफ प्रब्लम right? It's a real life problem. But उसले प्रेजेन्ट गर्यो मलाई मनमा के लाग्यो अझै बुझेको छैन कि म फेरि थप आएँ नि त दिस इज सेकेन्ड प्रब्लम conceptual problem. So she explained the concept. I am aiding on the concept to make you understand effectively, right? So problems are two: real life problems and conceptual problems. In the university, mostly you deal with conceptual problems. Mostly you deal with conceptual
problems. But please understand that conceptual problems are also connected with real life problems. So that was about problem. Once you have a problem, once you have research problem, second step you do is ask questions. Ask questions. Now, you ask questions about what? Then you ask questions on the data. You ask questions on the data. Why do you ask questions? To gather information. That's why there's a beautiful definition of research. What is research? Research is gathering information. Research is gathering information to answer a question that solves a problem. That solves a problem. So there are three things in research, three dimensions. There is a problem, there are questions, and there is information. These are the three pillars of research: problem, questions, information. First we have problem, then we look for information. Then we ask questions. Then we look for information to answer the questions. Now we have a problem. What is the problem? In American campuses, there are American students and there are international students. Right? American students have European race, they are mostly white Europeans. International students have mixed race. Now, chances are they come from individualist culture and they come from collectivist culture, right? Now they will have conflict. And you see, administrator said, let's close down ethnic studies center, let's close down women's studies center, let's close down cultural center, let's close down international halls. Why? Then he says, because these separatist facilities, they prevent international students from culturally assimilating with American students. So when you keep separate programs, separate cultural centers, separate residential halls for immigrant students, they are not able to interact a lot with the American students and there is no cultural assimilation. So the conflict is between those who support diversity and identity versus those who support assimilation and integration. Right? I'm telling you what is the problem. The problem is because some people say all people should assimilate and follow American European culture. But some people say no.
our own culture is important. We should preserve our cultural identity. We should promote cultural diversity. So the debate is diversity versus assimilation. Diversity versus integration. And that is causing problem. Now once you have problem, now hard time comes, that's it presented. Now first question asks, what do you want to know about the problem? What do you want to know? Now to answer this question, what do you want to know? To answer this question, what do I want to know? Just let me wait. First, I must understand what is communicative situation. There is another word for this also known as rhetorical situation. You can use the word communicative situation or rhetorical situation. It has same meaning. What is communicative situation? When there is communication happening, there is an actor or speaker. When communication is happening, there is a co-actor or listener. When communication is happening, there is a message. When communication is happening, there is a medium. When communication is happening, there are values of both parties. When communication is happening, there is occasion. Right? So look here. Now, you can decide to focus on communicative event, or you can say, I will not focus on communicative event, I will focus on communicative contact. Or you can say, no, I will not focus on event or contact, I will focus on discourse. Or you can say, Divakar sir, I am not going to focus on event or contact or discourse, I will focus on the text. Or you can say, no Divakar sir, my focus is not about event or contact or discourse or text, I will focus on situation. You cannot focus all things at the same time. You must, focus means limiting. Focus means limiting. You cannot study all these things. Now understand, when you focus on communicative event, your question will be, what happened? Who did what? Suppose you want to research this classroom today, this morning. So if your question is, what happened? Then you will say, Divakar sir was explaining the lesson and Anuj, what's your name? Anuj. And Anuj got a call on his mobile phone and he tried to secretly receive the call. There was a flash light in his mobile phone and Divakar sir saw, he became furious, he stopped teaching and he seized his mobile. But then he said, sir, this emergency call. But it was not an emergency call, it was a casual call. And I excused. Even. Focusing on even. And then, this was a conflict. I stopped the class, I got angry, I went to him, I scolded him, he was not feeling fine. Now I am making him an example on the camera. Conflict. Now you focus on what happened. Even. Right? Even. Now second, contact. Now, who was involved? Now, you will say, there was a teacher and there was a student. Now you will focus more on my character, you will focus more on his character. And you will focus on how did I behave. You will say, oh, Divakar sir was unnecessarily angry. Or you will say, oh, Anand was very bad. What? Mobile?
Keep silent.
You will focus on contact, right? Two parties. How did I approach him? How did he behave? How did we talk? Now suppose you want to focus on discourse. Now you will say, what did the teacher say? What did the student say? Discourse is the totality of the writing on a topic. Religious discourse, all writings about religion. Legal discourse, all writings about law. Classroom discourse, all writings about classroom. So when you say discourse, you will focus on what language I spoke. What did I say? You will transcribe my recording now. You will watch my video now. You will look for the CCTV camera now. You will write the transcription of the audio. Who said what? Who said what? Discourse. Right? Now, if your sentence text focus about text, now you will focus on, you will analyze every single sentence. Textual analysis is based on sentence. When you focus at sentence level, you are making textual analysis. When you focus on the whole discourse, this is discourse analysis. Now, if you focus on text, now you will say, what did Divakar sir say? Okay, let's analyze his dialogue. Oh, he was mannerless. Oh, he didn't say, he shouldn't say this thing. What did he say? Oh, he was telling a lie. Oh, he said, mom le call gareko. Oh no, it was not mom, it was somebody else. You are going deeper sentence by sentence at micro level. Right? Now, when you say no, Divakar sir, I want to focus on what happened. I want to focus on who was involved. I want to focus on what did the teacher say, what did the student say. I want to focus on sentences. I will focus on communicative situation. Then, if you want to focus on communicative situation, it is also known as rhetorical situation. Rhetoric is, what is rhetoric? Art of persuasion. Art of persuasion. Hakaune kala is rhetoric. Rhetoric is hakaune kala. Or like convincing. Now when you say, I'll focus on communicative situation, what makes up communicative situation? See, a communicative situation is there is a speaker, there is a hearer, there is a message, there is a medium, there is occasion, there are values or assumptions. You consider who spoke, who was hearing, what were they talking about, were they on the phone, were they on video call, were they writing each other, were they orally speaking. You will focus on, was it raining, was it cold, was it winter, summer, spring, what time of year. You will focus on what were the cultural assumptions. Oh, this teacher assumed that teachers should not use mobile phone. Now when you say What do you want to know about the conflict? Do you want to know what happened? Then ask a question. What did the campus do? What did the campus do? And your answer comes, campus proposed to close ethnic study programs, to close women's study programs, to close cultural centers, to close international halls. What happened? Even. Now if you focus on contact, then you ask who was involved, then your answer is the administrator was involved. Your answer is international students were involved. Now, if you focus on communicative discourse, your answer is what was written in the proposal. What the students say. Hello, बुझेर छु यहाँ हाम्रो के भाइ उसको नाम के नाम तपाईँको आफ्नो टिचरले कुनै कुरा गर्दा मलाई गरिदिन्छ। म झगडा नआएको यहाँ, म झगडा नआएको हो, सक्छु सक्दिनँ नि। बिचरा रिसाएको गइहाल्छु, नराम्रो पनि रिसाएपछि मैले काम पसन्द गर्छ के सिकाए गरिसक्छु। रिसाउने अधिकार मेरो हो तपाईँको। यसरी हेरेर के लाग्छ तपाईँलाई के नाम हो रिसा के रे उसले बोलेको थियो नि त अर्कोले ओके सुनिरहेको थियो कि उता फोटो बोलिरहेको थियो अनि म ऊ बोल्यो भने हल्ला भयो नि। ओके so if my focus is on text, so I will analyze every sentence of the proposal and I will try to find out what is the claim, what are the reasons, what are the evidences given. If my focus is, I will focus on who is the administrator, who are the students, what is the argument made, was the notice written medium or orally, or on what month, what date was it published. So this is how you begin your intercultural communication research. First question, what do I want to know? Say with me, communicative event. What do I want to know? Say with me, communicative event. Communicative contact. Communicative discourse. Communicative text. Communicative situation. Event. Contact. Discourse. Text. Situation. Event. Contact. Discourse. Text. Situation. Now, wait a minute. Now you will apply this to the campus problem. For example, if you see the book, please pay attention to the book. I want you to focus on the book. Look, you focus on the discourse. What each party was saying. For example, the American students said, if you keep international students separate, there will be no cultural assimilation. so dissolve these programs. Whereas international students who suffer racial discrimination, they said, no, we want to preserve our cultural identity, we want to preserve our cultural diversity, therefore we want to continue with the women's study program, with ethnic study program, with cultural centers, and separate international halls for international students. Now who is presenting next? Okay. Second step. Step 2. Third step. Step 3. Who is doing step 4? Step 4. Anuj. Where is Aish?
I will tell you.
Inform him. And tell him. Present गर्ने जिम्मा लिएर आएन भने सरले चाहिँ तिमीले सिद्ध्याउनुहुन्छ. सिद्ध्याउने एकदम छ internal evaluation. त्यसो गरेर पाइँदैन. Either inform me, I'll present, or you come. Who is doing number 5? Anuj. Number 6? Number 7? Number 8? Number 9? Number 10? Conclusion. Okay. Fine. Thank you. Attendance भइसकेको छ है. भइसक्यो हैन? ल गर्दै एकदम